So this is the second one of these I've seen. Really giant towers, and I was actually quite curious about them because I didn't know what they were. And then I went online and I was reading one of the mini articles of people that are disappointed with No Man's Sky because I guess it wasn't what they were expecting and da 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 da. And then I saw this guy on Reddit put together quite a long list on features that were promised that I guess never made it to the final game, and even features that even just several months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, that they were really hyping as major features of the game and things to get people excited about. That now the game's out, it's not actually part of the game. And one of the things they mentioned were these portals. Or were portals. And then I clicked, in his Reddit post, he had a bunch of various, links to the various videos that were shown by No Man's Sky producers and things like that. And I saw something that looked like one of these buildings. Same idea with these two towers with the thin line between them. Only it wasn't as tall as this one is. This one's quite tall. But it had the same circular entryway. And however, instead of this emptiness right here that you just walk through and it's just the same place, on the video clip in the No Man's Sky trailer, same building, but in the center of the circle, it kind of looked like a Stargate from the old Stargate movies or Stargate television, kind of like rippling grayish water, if you will. And then in the trailer they walk through it, and then through the other side is a clearly different planet. Whether it's the same planet in a different time, whereas in the time frame is different, so maybe you portal through a different time period on the same planet, or whether you portal to a completely different planet, which is probably more likely the case. It obviously didn't make it in the final game or if it did make it, it's much further along in the game, or you need to do something to activate it, which is possible. And I hope the fact remains that it's in the game, but you just have to do something to activate it, because it would be kind of fun. Now, of course, logistically, obviously, if you teleported to another planet and your ship is still on this planet, I guess you would have to make sure you came back to this planet to get your ship. So I don't know if there was issues with maybe the game would have problems tracking your ship, or if you left it on the planet and then you left to a different planet, and for some reason the game wouldn't be able to keep your ship in memory or something. I'm not sure. But it seemed interesting, and one of the things that the guy was talking about was that I guess originally, they did talk about a much more in-depth crafting system and a much more in-depth trading system and resource system, whereas different planets are going to have a wide variety of resources, and certain types of planets would have certain types of resources. For example, I think they said something like ice planets would have plutonium, and obviously if anyone's played the game, plutonium is a very important resource that you need for fueling your ship for the liftoff drivers or liftoff engine. Without plutonium you can't charge that, so you can't really lift off. And so if you're on a planet and you can't find plutonium, you can be in a pretty bad spot. Whereas essentially not unmanageable, because you could still find canisters at various buildings and get some plutonium from the canisters, or you could find a small spaceport somewhere like a docking area on the planet, and in the docking area you could buy some plutonium off the market, possibly. And actually, interestingly enough, that has happened to me before. So. And while it was a little annoying, I was like, oh god, I don't have any, I can't fly off of my ship. And then I was like, oh, I'll just look around. I landed somewhere, I was mining gold or something, and I was like, oh, let me go to the next thing, and I realized, oh crap, I don't have any plutonium, and I had actually just sold plutonium off planet at the space station because there was a guy that was paying quite a lot. If you haven't played the game, basically when you go to different space stations, when you talk to various vendors, you may find different prices being offered for different goods. So sometimes you might have a vendor that's willing to pay you 100% of the price of good. Sometimes they're going to charge you more than that, more than what it's worth. So, well, at this place there happened to be a plus 98% like price for plutonium. So I had like a stack of like 500 plutonium on me, and I thought I had more on my ship, but I guess I didn't. So I sold it, you know, and I made like 50,000 credits or whatever it is, and I was like, okay, cool, that's something, you know, whatever. I could just pick up more plutonium quite easily. You know, lo and behold, I get to the planet, I'm mining some gold, and go to my ship, can't lift off. I'm like, okay, I'll hop out. I can't find plutonium anywhere. I'm looking all over the place. No plutonium anywhere, which is quite rare. Usually plutonium is quite easy to find. It actually took me almost 20 minutes to find like a cave. I was flying around looking, you know, on my jetpack. Finally found a cave, and I got deeper in the cave, and there was like 1 or 2 plutonium crystals. And I was able to power up, you know, my liftoff and go to a place where I could get some more plutonium. But generally, if you can't find plutonium, these boxes usually always come with plutonium. So if you find any of these type of buildings, you can usually always find one or two of those boxes around to get plutonium. It's really helpful. But yeah, but actually, even though it was an inconvenience, not having the plutonium, you know, I felt kind of stupid about it. But, you know, that was my own fault for not preparing, not checking. And I think it adds a much needed element of gameplay to make it a little more difficult. Because right now, the resources don't feel important because you can get so much anywhere you go. Let's see. But anyway, let me read this for a sec. So these, you know, you don't have to read them. It doesn't give me options. I could just analyze dialogue and get the result. But, you know, these kind of consoles are generally where you're going to get most of your storyline for the game and most of your flavor text. So I like to read them. It gives me something to do. Interesting. Creepy. Some of these are actually pretty creepy, like horror movie-esque creepy. So it's kind of fun. But the sad part is the dialogue can be quite interesting on some of them. You know, the dialogue can be nice. Although, actually, I found quite a few typos in some of the dialogue, which was surprising considering it should be a relatively polished game. I've seen quite a few typos in the dialogue and grammar mistakes. You know, like starting something off as a plural and then mid-sentence they refer to it as a singular. You know, and it's kind of screwed up, or missing a verb, or you know, things like this, where it's quite simple mistakes that I guess, you know, they were in a rush to get all the text in, and maybe they didn't complete, maybe their editor maybe missed a few. Also, another problem I've seen was, another problem I actually ran into, well, not a problem, it's not a problem, but I took a screenshot, is, actually, you know, I'll see if I can find it. So, on some of the planets, so in your log, when you're scanning new creatures, so one of the big parts of the gameplay, it's about exploration. You know, the game is mainly survival and exploration. At least that's what it's tuned to. So for example, but the big thing is that exploration is discovering new creatures. So this new creature, let's discover him. So this guy, if you look at his thing, weight 0.76 meters, height 37 kilograms. So that's backwards. Obviously his height should be, you know, 0.76 meters and his weight should be 37 kilograms. But they actually have it mislisted and those numbers are reversed, with showing his weight as his height and his height as his weight. And it's a minor thing, you know, it's not a huge concern. But the thing is, for a major game like this that's been hyped so much, and it's, you know, they want it to be one of the best games of the year, blah 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 blah, and everyone's been waiting 3 years for it. Some of these minor mistakes are a bit, you know, disheartening. It's a bit sad. It's like, really, did you not check it before you released it and realize that all your animals' heights and weights are reversed? But then when you go into the journal, I checked, I was going to show my friend when he came over. I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to show him No Man's Sky because he was curious to see it. And I was saying, earlier I noticed that one of the animals, the height and weight was backwards. It was really weird because it was the first time I noticed it. After many, many animals, I finally realized it. And then I went to show him in the journal. But then in the journal, it's correct. Weight, height. But you'll notice in the journal, the weight is on top, the height is on bottom. When you use the binoculars, it has the height first, then the weight. So the way the stats are listed, it's weight, height, weight, height, weight, height. But the problem stems from when you use the binoculars, it doesn't show weight, height, it shows height, weight. Or excuse me, it's height, weight, but it shows weight, height. So it flips those two, but yet the entry still shows it in the way of the journal. So that actually happens on quite a few creatures. I don't know if it's all the creatures. Yep, this one too. I think it's probably all the creatures. So that's a minor thing. I'm sure they could fix it with an update quite easily. I don't know if any other players even noticed it yet though, because I haven't seen anyone talking about it. Admittedly, I don't really go online and research that much. I'm not really reading a lot of the Reddits or anything like that. I was bored the other day on the train and I was reading an article about No Man's Sky. When I came across the one article of complaints, and they didn't have it listed. So I don't know, maybe people are vocal about it, but whatever. Yeah, so that's a very minor problem that would be very easy to fix. It's something that should have been caught in the final Q&A, but I guess it wasn't. Or not Q&A, but the final QA, quality assurance, not question and answer. But I mean, compared to a lot of the other things that were promised in the game that apparently never made it, I think that height weight issues are relatively minor concern for most of the players. But I know a lot of people are quite concerned. Apparently major things like planetary physics, where each planet was supposed to have semi-realistic laws of physics that affect it. Things like an atmosphere, things like proper weather effects, that rotation on the planet. That was one of the big things they touted. Was you have you don't have this like skybox like in the original. In many other games, you'll see the sky, but it's just like it's a box that you can't get out of, and it's just art, but you can't actually go there. And they touted, we don't have a skybox, we have a sun, and we have planets that revolve around the sun, and moons that revolve around the planet, and and they even like the director or the creator of the game even said something like oh yeah, people that play they complain because they fly down to a planet, and then when they fly up from the planet, the moon's not there anymore, and that's because it's the planet's rotating. And it sounds quite interesting actually, because when you have a light, when your planet's by the sun, when you're rotating a planet, daylight's controlled by the rotation of the planet. So if you're on the dark side or the light side, depending on what side of the sun you're on, which is really interesting. It's a minor thing, but it's kind of a nice little touch. It makes the atmosphere of the game feel more realistic. It makes it more immersive. And these were a lot of the things that people were really excited about with this game. Was that it looked like this really immersive atmosphere with this amazing universe, and they did a great job with a lot of the previews. I mean, you have all these different huge animals, giant dinosaurs, and like lots of different things going on with the dinosaur taking a bath in the river, and then another dinosaur walking by, a little and it's really quite pretty. It looks like Jurassic Park, only the video game. And then when people get the game, you have different creatures, but they're fewer and further between. You don't have these giant creatures that seem to be living their lives, that you're just kind of popping in to see, like, oh wow, they're actually doing their own thing. It feels more like, they're just running in circles, and when you get there, they're still just running in circles, there's really not much life to them. Um, Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. But yeah, so apparently now, I mean, when you play the game now, when you fly off a planet, yes, you can fly in and out of a planet. You can fly from a planet to another planet, to the moon. It's really cool. However, you can't fly to the sun. The sun, it's not an actual sun. Like, you don't have a physical sun. It's just a skybox, which is something they said they wouldn't have. You know, they're like, "But we don't have these." But then they do. The sun is just art. You know, you can fly at it, but you're never going to get to it. It just sits there at the same distance. It's just, you know, an image. So that's a bit sad. Same thing, I don't think it's possible to fly from one solar system to the other. You can warp from solar system to solar system, of course. They said it's possible to fly from one solar system to the other solar system. And I really don't think you can. Now, realistically, I wouldn't want to, because it would take too damn long anyway. You know, because you wouldn't even know how to get there. There's no waypoint that you could set to make sure you're on the right direction, or you literally just have to go in a random direction and hope you ran into another star, which is highly unlikely that you would. The odds of that are really low. And your character might be going for a very long time. Like he might be going for a week at max speed, you know. So it's not something you'd realistically be able to do anyway. So it's fine. It doesn't matter to me that it's in there. But a lot of people are annoyed by it. I think people are more just, you know, they have these great expectations and they feel a little bit let down by it. There was wonderful variety in planets in the videos. And there's still some variety of planets, but not to the same level. It doesn't feel as big. It doesn't feel as impressive. It doesn't feel like, wow, this is a completely different ecosystem. It feels like, oh, this is the same ecosystem, but the ground is brown. Oh, this is the same ecosystem, but the ground is blue. Oh, this is the same ecosystem, but the ground is green. You know, that the plants look very similar. You know, oh, there's this type of cactus or that type of cactus. You know, it's so there's not as much variety as people were hoping for, myself included. So that's a bit sad. In terms of like gameplay, it's kind of tough because there's not so much of it. You know, admittedly I'm not very far in the main story. I pretty much, you know, I was taking things slow. I was exploring on my main planet, you know, where I started. I went to my second planet and I tried to find, like, you know, I tried to discover every species. One species that I couldn't find, then I eventually just said, screw it, I'm going to give up. I can't find this. I spent hours looking for this last one species with the mankind. So I ended up looking at one species. But you know, by the time I was on my third jump, my spaceship and my multi-tool, my exosuit, everything's pretty well upgraded. And I'm not really, and I mean, like, you know, now I'm like 8 or 9 jumps in, and I'm jumping multiple planets. I'm, you know, I got my Atlas pass finally. But it's almost like I'm out of things to do. I'm nowhere near the end of the game. I'm nowhere near the center of the universe. And there's plenty of different planets here. Of course, there's tons of places to go. I mean, I just barely even met the new races. But by the time I finished with my, you know, by the time I got out of the space of what are they called? The Korvac or something like that, the electronic life forms. By the time I did that, I already had, you know, a decent ship. All the ships I'm seeing now are downgrades. All the multi-tools I'm seeing now are downgrades. You know, so by the time on my 4th planet, I've got most of the various crafting plans. You know, most of the time I see crafting plans that I already have. So it doesn't seem like I'm making much progress. And it was after just, you know, maybe I don't know how many hours of gameplay because I haven't been checking. But yeah, so, you know, and you know, there's 3 different races with 3 different languages, plus the language of the of the atlas, so I guess 4 different languages, which really is not a lot. I mean, if you have 3 different races and a 4th language to learn out of a universe, it's quite small. You'd think there'd be more races in a giant universe, but that's okay. But I mean, before I even finished the Corvex, I already had the about 100. I had like 150 words learned before I even finished with Corvac. So I know most of the Corvac, but I have the top achievement, the highest achievement you can go with with words collected, before I even got 4 systems in. I already had all the words for achievements that you can get, and it was all in one language. So I mean, they probably could have extended these achievements out to make it feel like you're trying to at least achieve something new. But you run into the max achievements. I've got the max achievement for on foot exploration. I've got the max achievement for all these different things, like so on my journey milestones. So you only have about 10 each. So my on-foot exploration, I had by my 5th planet, I had that maxed. And aliens, I had that maxed by maybe my 3rd jump. This, I had my Babelfish for the milestone on that. It was before I even left the Korvac zone. I never saw another race, and I already had the max, vocabulary achievement, and I'd only seen one race. So it feels like I don't feel as motivated to learn more words because I'm already maxed out on that achievement, and I've only got 200 words. I think it maxed out 150. Most unit accrued, by the time I got 2 million credits, that's the maximum milestone, having 2 million credits. But there's ships that cost 25 million credits or 40 million credits. So I don't know why the milestones stop at 2 million, because in this game, 2 million is not a lot of credits. These are things that you can accomplish within the first couple hours of gameplay. I've not done a lot of space combat. I've only done a little bit. So maybe 100 starships might be the max. But again, I could kill 100 starships in a couple hours if I really wanted to. Sentinels, I could kill 60. It doesn't seem like these. They're too easy to get. They need to have more. There should be a lot more than 10 achievements. The extreme survival, that I don't understand how it works, because I've spent a lot of time on extreme planets. I have a lot of radiation gear and all this stuff, so I've spent actually quite a lot of time on the extreme planets, but I've only got 1 achievement on that, so I don't know why that's not racking up. As you can see, I've only warped 9 times, so I've only been to 9 systems, and actually as of yesterday I'd only been 3 times. I've done a lot of warps over the last day or 2 because there really wasn't anything else left for me to do. And so, what, maybe 30 warps, so I'll have that max probably. 50 warps, I don't know. This one's interesting. So, discovered all species on 0 planets, and I have a 0, right? However, if I go to my discoveries, one of my earlier planets that I went to, I'm not sure, let me see if I can find it. On one of the planets that I went to, I definitely discovered all the creatures. I think maybe this one? Yeah, so this one, I've got all the species. I've found them all. Maybe I didn't upload them all, but I think I did. It says 100 complete, 100% complete. Upload and receive 175,000. Ah, maybe you have to tap that. I see. Okay, well now maybe it'll be in there. So I take that back. So apparently you may have to hold X on this to upload it. Now let's see if I have that achievement. Ah, so now I have that achievement. Okay. I stand corrected. It's not broken. I was complaining for nothing. But it is confusing. It doesn't really tell you what you do. What to do. So that's good. So that works. I thought it was broken. Because it was really weird that I discovered all the species and nothing happened. I guess you have to physically hit that. So you have to upload them all individually. And then when you're done uploading them all, you then have to upload this. So yep. So that does work. Um, let's see, what was I talking about? Yes, there's a lot of issues with the game. People are unhappy about a lot of things, and I can get it. The game looked amazing. There was giant snakes, giant dinosaurs. Apparently, people are mad because in one of the trailers there was this desert planet, like a sand planet, and they don't have the sand planet anymore. And they have a desert planet. And I mean, I guess I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why people are so angry about it, but I mean, I understand it a little bit. Like, the idea is we were shown one thing and we were given a vastly diminished version. So while there's no desert planets where you have what feels like you're actually on sand, you have, you know, or you don't have any sand planets, but you have a desert planet, where it looks more like rocky ground, rocky parched ground. Which admittedly some deserts look like, and I've been to deserts that are like that. You know, not all deserts are this like rolling sand dunes like in Kuwait. Like if you go to the Iraqi desert, in a lot of sections in Iraq, there's a lot of really just hard-packed rocky terrain with some scrub brush everywhere, and it's a desert. But in the video, they showed a very kind of Kuwait desert-esque rolling sand dunes, kind of like really sandy soil, and this giant like sand snake, I guess. Like it was huge, like it was like rolling around the guy, and it was really creepy, and it was quite impressive. And a lot of people were really excited to see these really large creatures like this. And you know, because that's part of the adventure of this game, is discovering these really interesting things. But apparently, it's not in the game. So people are complaining quite a bit, and I don't blame them. And just like but you know, whatever, it is what it is. So I guess people are always going to be mad about stuff. You know, you're never going to be able to please everybody. But at the same time, I think the problem with this is that the fan base was really looking forward to this, and I think a lot of them feel really let down. And that the final product is a far cry from what they were promised, if you will. You know, it is what it is. I'm still enjoying the game, so I'm not going to complain. Do I wish that it was better? Do I wish it had all those great things that they talked about? Of course. Oh, if I can make some neutrino modules, I can upgrade those grenades. Alright, let's see what I have to do to make a neutrino module. I know what I have to do. I have to get rid of some of this crap. And some of the Atlas Stone. Apparently you need like 10 of them. They should be stackable. Why can't they stack? You know, why are only the base elements stackable? Even you can create some elements by combining elements, but those elements aren't stackable. So it makes no sense, because then it's like, why would I want one item like this fascination bead, which is 12,000 units? Like, there's no point in me collecting this to sell, because all it is a money item. It doesn't, I don't, there might be some random NPC somewhere that might give me an extra dialogue choice if I have a fascination bead, whereas maybe he might, like, you know, some minor thing, oh, he gives you 1,000 credits, or, you know, something like, he teaches you a plan, and it ends up being a plan that you already have anyway, so it doesn't matter. You know, you might get that out of it. But why would I waste a spot in my inventory for this when I can carry, like, a stack of anything? Like, let's see, where's gold and aluminum? Let's see. So this, not even a, okay, here's a full stack of gold. So a stack of gold takes up the same room, one shot of my ship, and it's worth, you know, almost 10 times what the fascination bead is. So when you have that, what's the point of carrying a fascination bead? You know, it's a wasted slot. I'd rather carry gold. You know, if I have the space, I'll carry it until I find something better. But it doesn't really make you want to really look for things, because it's always best, generally, it's just best to just farm up as much gold or emerald as you can, or, you know, something like that. You know, there are some worthwhile things that you can find a lot of, like the albumin pearls, but generally it takes a lot of the fun of it. You know, there's no point in collecting these things. The type of crates that these come in generally aren't even worth opening. because it's just a waste of an inventory slot. I only open them now because I have plenty of inventory. But when I was first hurting for inventory and really like beginning, and I was hurting for money, and I was really beginning like, oh man, I need some money, I'm so broke. You know, that's when you want to collect these type of things to sell because you need the money. You're trying to save up for your first ship. You know, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna find these cool items and try to sell them and make some money. But then it's meaningless because it's not worth the slot, and you're better off to just mine gold or aluminum or whatever you happen to see next to you and sell that instead. You know, or you know, like even if a stack of this iridium, it's only 6,800 for 250 on my exosuit, so it's half the value of this. But this is also useful. I can use this to make stuff, you know, so it's worth holding in my inventory, you know, just in case I may need it. If not, I can sell it. But for something like that, there's no point in even keeping it. I don't need it for anything. Anyway, I'm complaining. Let's see. Oh yeah, but like this Chromium. Sweet, I can make this. But why? There's no point to making it. Maybe later I'll find a recipe that needs it. But for right now, I really don't need that much. And I can't stack it, so it takes up an entire spot all of itself. So it's a worthless thing. Same with this Lemium. So what I think happened is I think originally they had a much more robust plan for the crafting, but what we ended up getting was a kind of weaker version of it. So that sucks. But these are things that they could fix in updates, but you know, as the PC, it's easier to push updates. It's harder to do for the PS4, I guess. So I guess I can't craft a neutrino module. You can find those in those crates. That's funny. I was just talking about how useless the items in those crates are, but you can find neutrino modules in the crates, but it's quite rare. So you know, it's not worth my time to continually waste 4 slots just to look for them. It's easier to just try to find them in the store and buy them. Anyway, I don't really need that upgrade. I'll upgrade something else instead. I'll upgrade my coolant. Anyway, so I've spent a lot of time on this video clip whining. It was meant purely just to show the non-working warp. But yeah, as you can see, it's morphed into just what's wrong with this game. Let's see. I want to boost my grenades. So, you know, there's grenades, there's the beam, and then there's the gun. I forget what it's called, the bolt caster. I personally don't find the bolt caster any use at all. I never use it. If I want to kill something, I just use the grenades because they're much stronger. So the bolt thing doesn't mean anything to me. But I might as well upgrade my grenades. But what I always do is I end up modifying one of these, you know what? I have a +3. Whatever. I'm super boosting my thing. So now I can see really far. But now I should hopefully also have some more space in my inventory, but let's sell some crap. Let's get rid of these garbage fascination beads. Sell. Actually, I think I'm trying to save Radnox or something. Titanium's always useful in the ship compat. Emeralds. I've got a shit ton of my exosuit. Okay, exosuit. And honestly, I don't even know why I bother collecting all this gold, because it really doesn't mean much either. Doesn't do that much for me. I'll save. For some reason I've been. Oh wait, actually I think I have something I can make if I have 1,000 gold, so I have to check that before I sell the gold. I'm trying to save a lot of these main resources, just for creating higher level things. It's not that important, but I mean I'm running out of. I mean I really don't need the money. I mean I could try and keep saving for a bigger ship, but oh wait, I don't want to sell 9. I want to keep 9. I want to keep about 1,000. Let's go sell more than that. Actually, thamium's actually really easy to farm when you're in space. It can be hard to find on planets. You have to find these little flowers, but in space, any asteroid you kill will give you a good stack of it. So I really don't need to hold on to too much thamium because I can easily pull a bunch of it when I'm in space and it gives me something to do. Well, I accidentally sold all of my thamium. So I guess I'll be farming some of that when I'm done. That's awesome. Now watch, this guy's gonna want... Oh no, he's gonna probably want carbon, and I just sold my carbon. Come on, maybe he'll want thamium, which I just sold. What's up, buddy? The only word I know is Gek. Alright, so he wants oxide, isotope, or silicate. I don't know what he wants, because I don't have enough language. You know what? I'll give him a silicate. Why not? I would have preferred something else. I got an entire 655 units. What? Glad a ship only costs 20 million. A new milestone? Wow, what could it be? Is it that naturalist? Wow, I only did that 10 minutes ago. Yeah, so sometimes there's a bit of delay on these milestones. Like, I clearly did that a long time ago. But, you know, whatever. I wonder what Atlas level I need to get into here. I'm just excited because I finally have my Atlas pass. It took me forever to get it because I'm really slow and stupid, and I didn't realize the waypoint that the game was trying to send me to was going to get me there. So I got my first Atlas Stone and another one, and I saw, oh, finally I'm there. I was so excited. And actually it's funny because my friend came over to try the game out. And I was like, cool, yeah, so what, you want to explore a planet on this galaxy? You want to go to a new game? And I'm like, you know, it's just I showed him the controller, you know, how to play the game, and, you know, have at it. And so we warp them to, you know, okay, pick a galaxy you want to go to, we'll warp you there, so feel free to explore the galaxy. So he warps to the thing, and then, oh, that's buggy looking. Oh, that's one that Raz destroyed earlier. It's actually, he was exploring this planet, and this is the giant mess he left of the aluminum. Hello, Mr. Hyena thing. Your fat little baby. Well, yeah, so he warps in, and then immediately there's like a... I should get some more plutonium before I leave the planet. Yeah. I'll get some plutonium. So, right when he warps in, he runs into, you know, it says like, oh, Atlas, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And it gives you like a storyline queue. And my friend who has the game was telling me, oh yeah, that's where you get your Atlas pass, you know, it's the whatever. And that's the thing I had been trying to do, and I was like, oh my god, I warped like 5 times trying to fucking, well not 5, but maybe 3 times trying to get to this thing. I was going to try and get it done before he got there, so that way I could just knock it out and be like, okay, I got that storyline thing done, and let Raz just tool around. But the second I give him the controller, because my last one, he came over, you know, I was like, I'll knock it out before he gets here. I didn't knock it out before he gets here. I was like, it's just another stupid Atlas interference thing where I get another, or interface thing where I get another Atlas stone. So then I give it to him, he warps, and then it's the damn event that I was trying to get done. So I was like, oh, I'm trying to get this done. And he was nice enough. He's like, oh yeah, and I had to ask for the controller back just so I could do it real fast, you know, because I'm weird like that. and then give him the controller to explore. Like, okay, now I just said go for it, but okay, let me have the controller back. I don't want you to play anymore. It was kind of selfish. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so this is kind of one of those, like, what type of planet is this? Is this a desert planet, or is this... I think this is, like, considered a hot planet. So maybe this is another one of those, like, would have been sand planets, but there is no sand planet. And as you'll notice, I'm not seeing much thamium. I mean, I'm not seeing much plutonium. You know, lots of other stuff, carbon, but not much plutonium. So this could be another one of those planets where plutonium is relatively rare. So perhaps, yeah, I don't see any. And it's not coming up on my scan very much. I mean, there's one or two way down there. Yeah, whatever, I'll go down here. I might have to blow off. So one of the instances, I just upgraded my my little scan to find things that are further away, but the problem is look, it's finding things that are further away, right? But they're so damn far away. I you know, it's like, oh yeah, it's close, but it's actually not close at all. So I'm finding it on my map, and now I'm like, oh, let me go run to it, and then I find out, oh, it's probably like, you know, a 30-minute walk away. What the hell? I would rather it not show up. So maybe I shouldn't upgrade my goggles so much. Ouch. There's finally some plutonium. It's like this. Oh, there. Nope, it's on the other side. Nope, it's on the other side. Actually, that looks like it's in the ground. Blow a hole in the cave and get down to it, maybe. Is there a cave down here? Hello.
Weapon charge depleted. Technology recharge.
So, what I'm gonna do is just keep blowing a hole directly, but with my what I'll probably end up doing is running out of because it's probably on the other side of this mountain. So this probably isn't gonna work very well, and I'm gonna use all my plutonium, and then I'm not gonna get to it, and then it's gonna be hilarious. Oh, did I get there? Yes. Finally. So I blew my hole into this cave. It's a pretty long hole, actually. It's pretty cool. This is kind of fun. You can make your own path, right? I actually quite like this game. Would I have liked the, you know, promised game better? Of course. I would have loved for a lot of those features to make it. But at the same time, you know, I understand that, you know, their vision, while great, maybe might have been a little bit more than they were able to implement. And there might be reasons for that, so I'm not too worried about it. You know, I'm going to hope for the best, and maybe later in a patch, or in some possibly free downloadable content, perhaps, maybe. Maybe they'll add these things that were promised originally. And that would be really cool. So I'm listening to my favorite terrible television show in the background while I play, which is Ancient Aliens. So one of the most ridiculous shows on the television. These are really creepy. They look like bugs, but they're plants. Imagine if you live on this planet. You're like, oh, let's have some vegetable stew. What do you got? I've got these things. No, thank you. I don't think I need that vegetable stew. That's a bit ridiculous. Run! Yeah, so anyway, back to Ancient Aliens, the best and worst television show on the planet. It's really terrible. And what are they, like 11 seasons in or something like that? Um, so they're really running out of material. And the stuff that they say, I mean, even in the first 2 seasons, it was ridiculous, the stuff that they come up with. It was like, you've got to be kidding me. Could this be real? Like, could it be? Did aliens come to Earth and build the pyramids? Like, no, they didn't. I mean, is it possible? Technically, okay. Technically, I guess anything is possible. But it's so far from possible, or it's so far from probable that it's a bit ridiculous. You know. So it's fun watching it. I really actually quite like it. You know, sometimes they show really interesting ancient ruins and things like that. Like, it's quite nice seeing the stuff when you see things like Göbekli Tepe and, you know, and you see these ancient ruins that go against the narrative of history. That's kind of interesting, you know, in our accepted knowledge. And of course, as with science and history, you know, it's always something where we're learning more. You know, we're always going to discover new things. We're always going to change our narrative, the current narrative, you know, going back where, you know, the first civilizations that we know of being like, going back to Sumeria, you know, in ancient Mesopotamia and things like this. Oh, that's a lot quicker hole. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Yeah, so it's quite neat. You know, and you know, so our history, we know that, you know, ancient Egypt, and it goes back a couple thousand years, and we know Sumeria, and wow, that new scanner is ridiculous. I can see everything. But so it's kind of interesting when, you know, you see a ruin that dates back possibly 11,000 years, and I say possibly because, you know, the science, dating science, you know, carbon dating and all these other ways to date. You know, some things they can date, some things they can't date. Some things they can date to a certain range. So it's a little bit fly by the seat of your pants, you know. So, but for the most part, you know, it's pretty accurate, and it's quite interesting. So then when you see something that, you know, that the dating techniques say, oh, this might be 10,000 years old, or, you know, 8,000 years old, and that's actually quite interesting, considering you know, it's sad because we don't have anything else to go on other than this building might be this old. We don't have any type of writings or anything like that. You know, all we have are these buildings with possibly, it looks like symbols on the side of the building, which is interesting because it pushes back the narrative of humanity, right? It pushes back our narrative a little bit further back, where you say, okay, well, maybe societies, maybe people were living together in, you know, groups a little bit further back than we know. You know, because originally you have hunter-gatherer, and then you go into, you really think of ancient Sumeria and that kind of Mesopotamia area in ancient Iraq as the kind of the first kind of pastoral type societies where you're developing agriculture and, you know, changing the way humans live. Before that, you know, we were being much more nomadic, you know, traveling with animals, things like that. And with herds and things like that. But once we figured out agriculture and farming, you know, it started an entirely new chapter in human history. You know, because that changed everything. It changed the way we live. Because now you can, you know, you can grow your own food. You can store your food for later seasons, and that type of stuff is really fascinating to see that type of history of humanity. And so anything where it's a possible find of something that looks like buildings showing that, you know, there was human settlements in areas that date back 1,000 or 2,000 years before what we know previously, I think it's quite interesting. I don't think it has anything to do with aliens, and I think to try and say something to do with aliens is ridiculous. But I do love the fact that, you know, I like the idea of there's still a little bit of mystery in the world. There's still a little bit of things that we don't know. You know, because the spirit of exploration seems to have died a bit. You know, after colonialism and all the terrible things that was. You know, but in the modern world, you know, it feels like there's nothing left to discover. It feels like with, you know, satellites and all these things, like we could see into the sky and we know everything, and there's nothing else to discover. Although they are doing very interesting things like ground penetrating radar, which I know a little bit about ground penetrating radar, but some of the GPR stuff that they're doing to see different things, and some of the photo imagery from satellites that they're using to look for possible patterns in the soil that don't seem natural, like squares, things like this. It's quite interesting, and it helps to bring a little bit of that exploration back, which I really love. So I'm really a big fan of that type of stuff, and so I like that about the show, to see these things. But really, the theories that they have are absolutely ridiculous. And I feel bad if people actually take it seriously and they legitimately believe in it. But hey, it's trash television that I love, and it's more entertaining to me than, say, Jerry Springer. So I like it. Anyway, that was my long rant about that. Like, no one's even listening to this anyway, so it doesn't matter. If I even get one view on this, I would be surprised to no end. And I really don't think I'll ever get a view on this, because I'm never going to try to get views on it. Anyway. Gek, first spawn, destroy. That's all I got. I see a strange vision. Small winged creature lands on the top of the monolith. Suddenly its eyes glow red. That doesn't look good. Mercy in an ancient voice that wants itself dead. It screams for mercy in an ancient voice that wants itself dead. That doesn't make sense. The poor animal has clearly broken its neck. Oh, okay, I see. So it wants... the mercy would be if I kill it. But the monolith of power of possession still animates it. I wonder if the right thing would be to shoot it and put it out of its misery. Gek, first spawn. Oh, are you people actually listening to me? Wow, that's ridiculous. I just noticed, so this is how bad I am at streaming things. I've never done this before. But I just noticed that if I look on the side of the screen, it shows that people, or one person, KH32387, is apparently listening to me, which is quite interesting. So hello, KH32387. I apologize if you sent these messages like 5 minutes ago, and if you got bored and left. I talk smart. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't think I talk that smart, but I appreciate the compliment. So you asked, is this game any good? I think this game is quite fun. There's a lot of problems with it. It's not necessarily the game that was promised. However, I have fun with it. I think some people are just taking this game too seriously, and their expectations are so high that they set themselves up for disappointment. But you know, for me, it's a fun game to play around with. It's a really beautiful game, so I'm enjoying it. So what should I pick? Should you can choose. Should I leave the creature alone, or should I shoot the creature? So are you going to put the creature out of its misery, or are you going to let it wallow in misery? Apparently, maybe it did something wrong. To give you some backstory, so to help your decision. So, these Gek, apparently one of the other species, apparently the Gek helped to destroy another species, I don't know. So I think the people that made the monoliths, they destroyed their people. The original first spawn of the Gek, the first generation. But I guess now, maybe they're a faction that you see, so maybe they've evolved a little bit. So maybe this is one of the first spawn, one of the bad ones, I guess. So should I leave it alone, or should I shoot it? You can just post a comment, and it'll pop up on my screen, and I'll follow your decision. Shoot the creature. Okay, I will shoot the creature. Hey, it looks like you made the right decision, because it's rewarding. It's rewarding us for killing this thing. That's terrible. So we got more standing with Gek, and that's nice. And we learned a new word. So yeah, so you had questions about the game. Oh, and we got a Gek relic, which, you know, is something I'll just have to sell. So yeah, I think the game is fun. So you've not played the game then, so I'll just explain. These things right here are language stones, and these are monoliths. So these are the type of mechanic where you're learning the language of the different races. So one of the things I like to do is I like to learn the languages because it's one of the diversions in the game. I'll fly over to my ship, and we'll see if we can do anything interesting. Where are you from? KH32387. By the way, you're wasting your time. I can't even believe you're watching me play this game right now. There's probably much better things you could do with your time, but I appreciate it. It's going to take me almost 5 minutes to get to my ship. So this looks like, yeah, so a big part is mining. So this is emerald, so these are actually pretty valuable. So I'll want to collect this and sell it. But, I don't have time for that. That's cool, I appreciate it. Do you play games as well? What system? Do you have a PS4? Do you play computer games, or do you just like to watch people stream games?
Thermal protection falling.
Sweet. Blueprint. You're by me. Wait, wait, so does my profile say where I'm at? Like, I don't even know how this works. Does it say where I'm streaming from? Like, I don't even know. You're in my living room? You're sitting next to me? That would be a little creepy. Does it say like what city I'm in or what country I'm in or something? I really don't know how this works at all. This is quite new to me, really. My ship. So right now I'm trying to find my ship. There it is. I tend to kind of wander. Maybe what you're very mysterious, KH32387. How did you find this stream anyway? Hello, Mr. Animal. Oh, I don't have any carbon to feed it. Oh, I guess I won't be feeding it. So I'm just gonna fly to my ship. Once I get to my ship, then I'm gonna try to go to a different. Maybe I'll go to a different planet or different galaxy. What I'll do is maybe I'll let you decide if I'm to go to a different planet or a different galaxy or where we'll go. If you're still watching, you know, in 5 minutes. So it's a secret. Okay, mysterious KH32387. With their secrets.
Thermal protection falling.
I'm gonna feed this guy carbon. Where you at, little guy? Come back. I want to feed you. So you can feed the animals, and they give you a little smiley face. And some of them are kind of cute, some of them are kind of weird looking. This guy, I don't know, he's kind of like a armadillo thing, I'm not sure. Oh, you're from Chicago, that's cool. I'm from Philadelphia. But I actually live in Tokyo now. So I live in Tokyo, Japan. So I don't know if my profile says where I'm at, but my PlayStation account is my US PlayStation, so it might say I'm from Philadelphia. But currently living in Tokyo, so it is the afternoon here. What time is it? Oh no, it's 6 p.m. Wow. Actually, I'm supposed to meet my friend in about 45 minutes, so I might have to end this stream in a few minutes. I have to take a shower, meet my friend. What time is it in Chicago? Wow, it's, what is it like? It's Chicago. So I know Philly's about 11 hours or 13 hours behind. So you're probably like 15 hours behind. What's it like, 1 in the morning or something over there probably? You're up pretty late. So this is my ship to my one soul listener, KH32387. Alright, so one of the cool things about this game is you can just leave a planet. So I'll fly up into the atmosphere. Why am I in Tokyo? I'm in Tokyo because I live in Tokyo. I'm here finishing school and working. So I'm studying international relations and political science. And while I'm in school finishing that, I am teaching English. So yeah, so I go to university here. So this is the planet that we just left. It's the sun, obviously. There's another planet, or maybe that's the planet we just left. I don't even know. Let's move away a little bit and we can get a little further out. Destroyed really close. Alright, so I'm a little bit further out now. So obviously this is one solar system. So every solar system is different. So the solar system that I'm in is that dot there. So, oh yeah, wow, 4 in the morning, you are up late. I know the feeling. I've had trouble getting to sleep lately as well. So let's go to a new solar system here. So my ship, I can warp. Like when you first start, you can't warp, and then you can go to 1. But now I can warp to more than 1. So I'm gonna warp to the next maybe Atlas interface, which is more of a kind of storyline progression thing. So we'll warp to that, see what that is. I've got about maybe 10 more minutes or so if I have to. Yeah, sleeping problems. I've been the same way this last month. I'm on a bit of a break right now from school, so all I have to do is oh, what the hell is that? It's like I flew through a planet. So now I just have work, but I've been up late, really hard to go to sleep. So let's go to this Atlas interface. I think they look really cool. Yeah, so if you like games that are a little bit more free roaming, one of the strengths of this game is it's similar to like Minecraft or Terraria or Starbound in some ways, in the fact that there's not a lot of. I got a friend request from somebody. Maybe that's you. So this game is very. Let's get some words. So if you run in, so people that are new to this game, if you run over these orbs, not every one of them will teach you a word, but some of them will teach you a new word. So if you're here, it's usually worth doing. Collect some words. And then I'll go talk to this. Here's my ship. Exit. Let's go see what this orb wants. It's really creepy. These are a little bit scary, actually. Like, nice. I'll take that. So, I don't know if these are like God or what, but they're really kind of creepy. You know, I guess they're like the good guy, if you will. I'll accept you in a little bit once I get off the stream. So let's check the convergence. So obviously down here it's just a bunch of gibberish because I don't know this Atlas language very well. The more you play, the more you pick up the language, and then you can start learning and reading some of this. So I don't know. Usually there'll be a clue on this on what to pick. I'll probably pick this one since you need a certain milestone to do it. So I'll just do that. See, there's purpose in this. I'm certain the wanderer's way beckons, heedless of direction, free from all control, but balanced and so does the promise of all knowledge. It needs me, so I may know myself. Let's see. Crossroads, momentous decision. Oh, interesting. They have parsec as a distance unit and not a time unit, like the classic Star Wars reference. So that's good. Yeah. Thanks, I appreciate it. Open stars call to me, stirring something primal and undeniable. The path towards the end point unfolds. I'll concede, just because it's a milestone-related one. So why not? I probably should have refused and whatever, but I'll just concede. And I get another Atlas stone, and that's about it. But from what I understand, you have to collect a certain amount of those by the time you get to the center of the galaxy. My friend was telling me apparently I need to keep 10 of them, so I'll just hold on to them. And I'll get in my ship. So these are kind of like the storyline stuff, so you kind of run into these periodically. But the interesting thing, so it's quite a linear story, as in there's only just the one path. I mean, I guess there's other options. Supposedly you can do a different option, or you can choose to just roam, you know, randomly around the galaxy. So I'm doing a little bit of both. So like I started with just roaming around a little bit. I've progressed a little bit in the story. Now I'll probably roam a little bit more, just check out some random planets, random galaxies. I'm not in a rush to finish the games. Some people are. So this planet looks interesting, I guess. So let's go see what this planet is. So interesting enough, the planets are really far away. So if you're going regular speed, like if I'm going this normal speed, right now it'll take me 16 minutes. I can go a little bit faster at this, which will take me 1 minute and 30. Or you can use this full stride. Hey, yeah, man. Oh god, I'm running out. I just bounced into I just slammed into that space station. That was actually really fun. Yeah, it was nice to chat with you. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you ever see me broadcasting, stop on by. I'll send you a message on PlayStation Network. If you broadcast things, let me know, and I'll check it out. My broadcast sent you an invite. That's really interesting. I didn't realize that it could. Good to know. guess PlayStation wants me to broadcast. Well, it's like I'm just gonna land on this planet and then quit the game anyway. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. I hope it wasn't a complete waste of your time. Hopefully you get some sleep. It's quite late. I'm gonna go grab some dinner. And I'll probably be playing No Man's Sky later. Probably not broadcasting. So take it easy. Ah, I see. If I broadcast, send you an invite. Will do. I'll do that. If I have something interesting to talk about, I'll send you an invite. Oh, this is what some of the water looks like. I actually quite like it, but my big goal now is I want to find a giant kind of sea creature. That's what I want to do in the game. So hopefully I'll find one day. Anyway, take it easy, man. Or woman, or whatever. I don't know. Take it easy. And I'm ending my broadcast.